Okay, we're filming. It's already your CT-111 instructor. I'm here at 1460 North Fairview with Trevor Baumgartner. Trevor Baumgartner is a layout, and what's your title?
Project management layout. So we get the job, and then I start looking at the plans and developing material lists, RFIs, submittal packages, and things like that.
Do you talk without your mask?
They're gonna.
Okay.
It's
all right. It's all right. We'll just make do. So we have to be masked up on this site, so we may be a little bit garbled. But Trevor's going to tell us a little bit about. He's going to tell us a little bit about himself, how he got into this business, and then he's going to tell us about this project. Trevor, how did you get into this business?
It was one of my best friends, actually, Brian Cordero Construction. His brother needed somebody to help him, so I was, 17 or something, and I went to work for Brian's brother and stuck around. I remember we were working for...
And what were you doing? What was it? Was it framing?
We were working for Biff McIntyre out of Carp, and we were doing prefab log cabins at Circle V Ranch up by Kachuma Lake. It's like right next door to the summer camp, or the boys school camp, or I can't remember what it is. Anyways, it's a church camp up right by Kachuma Lake, and we were doing prefab cabins. So that was it. And I remember Biff said, so is this something you're going to do? And I laughed and I said no. And
summer job type thing.
Yeah, exactly. And 23 years later.
So how did you get? So did you go from them to Gordon and Piano? How'd you wind up there?
No, I bounced around. I worked for a couple different people. I was working for Brian's brother, and somebody offered me a couple more bucks or something, and I went over and worked with them for a while, and they ran out of work, and I ended up working with John Herrera, and I was his helper, and he had worked for Gordon Piano years before, and he goes, "Oh man, I know where we can go get a job." So we went down to the office on Friday afternoon, talked to Don. Don goes, "Yeah, you guys can start Monday." And we're like, "Oh, cool, Monday we'll be out there." And it was 4th of July weekend, going down the driveway, and earlier in the day we'd called into the radio station and won tickets to go see, won some concert tickets on the radio. So we go back into the office. "Oh, Don, we can't start on Monday. We're going to a concert on Sunday, man." And he goes, "Fine, Tuesday, we'll see you Tuesday." Anyways, the weekend rolls around, it's like Sunday, and I get a phone call from a collect call, county jail. And so it's John, and he just goes, "Sorry, man, I can't make it." And I don't know, he was gone for like a year or something, so I went over there by myself and been here ever since, 2001.
And what did you start doing? What did they have you doing?
We were framing walls when I first started, so
you're banging nails with you brought your own nail gun?
No, I don't think I even had a nail gun. I think I showed up with a saw and a Sawzall and like a cord or something.
Yeah.
That was all I had. I was 20. I had bags, saw, and a Sawzall and a cord.
But you also understood framing. You knew what bottom and top plates were. And
so I had some experience. I was just, again, just getting into like, I guess I'll be doing this for a while. Maybe I'll buy a couple of tools. And
so they put you on a framing crew, framing walls, building walls and standing walls.
Yeah, we started framing, and I think we might have been plumbing lining the first floor or something. Because I remember Don saying like, "Oh yeah, you guys are gonna go. We need somebody to go roll joists over there." So walls were up, and we were plumbing lining and getting ready to roll joists.
And then I will stop this video and explain rolling joists and plumbing and lining, which is a cool part of it for me, to be able to do a diagram.
Yeah, for sure.
But tell us then, and then how did it go? And that was how long ago?
And that was 2001.
So that was 20 years ago.
20 years ago, yeah.
So you're 41 now?
I'm gonna be 40.
Wow, you might as well
just roll it up now and be done.
So
now I keep Advil in my bags. And
what so tell us what that 20 years, what got you to here? What kind of stuff did you do, and how did you get at what point did you transition from banging nails to doing layout? What happened? Anything?
I started seeing Joe on the jobs.
Yeah. We're talking Joe Fiano.
Joe Fiano, yeah. So I started seeing Joe on the jobs, and I remember the first time he had snapped something, and I was this guy Ralph's helper for years. I went everywhere with Ralph. He taught me a ton, taught me most of what I know as far as framing, and Joe had snapped. So it was like this. It was snapped out, and we were going to be plating, but I'd never really plated before. And Joe was there, and like, oh, we know he owns the company, but we don't really know him. We don't have like that much of a relationship with him. We just know like, oh, he's the layout guy and he owns the company. And I remember Ralph just going, "Get away from me, go over here." Because I was like, "Ralph, what is this? Like, what do these arrows mean? What does that mean? You got to help me here. Like, I'm sinking, man." And he goes, "Get away from me!" Like he didn't want me to to be bringing him down, And so. Then Joe had me drop back. I think he saw the challenges I was having and had me go around and channel, which is after it's plated, you mark the intersecting wall points and wrap marks around the plates, channel marks. So when did I actually start? I started going out on jobs. I don't remember how or where it really happened. I think I started running some work, some small jobs. And it was super busy at the time, which I think also probably helped me out because it was, here's some plans, go figure it out. Everybody that really knows what they're doing is doing, these big houses and commercial buildings and things like that. And here's a room addition. I'm sure you can't screw it up that bad, kind of a thing. And so I had, seen Joe's layout sheets, and I kind of just mimicked what I thought they were on my own, and I don't know, maybe somebody told them, and then they brought me in to start doing some layout.
And so did Joe take you under his wing and kind of
Joe showed me all of his secrets and tricks and how he goes through a plan and marks it up and makes cut lists and writes RFIs. And I remember writing an RFI, and I would ask about a shear wall length or something, and Joe would look at my R5s before I sent them out and, "Trevor, that's shear like pantyhose." "Oh, okay. No, not the double E, we're going with the EA here." So, he taught me everything from plating to spelling.
Wow.
Yeah.
And these guys are plating now, right?
Yeah, so we got it snapped earlier.
Snapping because it looks like your exterior and interior walls are all sitting on curves. So your snapping out doesn't exist here, right?
Kind of, yeah, a little bit. I mean, if you look at the outside, you'll see we have an outside line.
Here's some lines that were. So that black line is going to be the outside of your plate.
Correct.
And why so much foundation wall?
This building has shear panel, drywall on the outside or dense glass.
And that's because of the fire rating.
And then it gets a 3/8 inch air space or rippers for a rain screen for the siding.
Oh, nice. So that's what, about 1.25 inches right there?
Yeah. Inch and
all that. And so all that will your siding then flush out and drop down and cover that?
Siding will almost be flush. It'll get a piece of metal that goes down, flashing over the stem wall there before.
So you got a detail of that.
Yeah, for sure.
I love this little chamfer.
Yeah.
The way it kind of batters.
Yeah. So then the siding trim should, end up coming out to that outside face of concrete.
Down to that chamfer. So
correct.
Check this chamfer out. Can you guys see that? Yeah, I can see that. I'm going to zoom on it. It's pretty cool, really. It's a cool detail. A cool detail that part of the concrete work that will show much later. Yeah, that's neat. All right, so you have had a ton of experience on all kinds of jobs. The last job that we came through with you on a class was that 4-story, the Gardens on Hope.
Gardens on Hope, yeah, the
really
90.
Interesting framing job, and I remember some of the stuff that sticks out is that you had all that stuff cut off-site. You had
Well, yeah, that was wall
you had
panels.
Wall panels
Yeah.
made, and you had the whole thing was sheeted by sheeters, guys that came up and.
Yeah. So yeah, we had we panelized all the walls there. We had
So when you say, could you explain what you mean by that? When you say you panelized all the walls?
panelized the walls. So you send the plans to a wall panelizer or a truss plant, and they will then do a 3D drawing of it, a model of the job, and in that model then they can extract that information and it turns it into these detail sheets that they send to their wall plants. And so it'll make a cut list, and that goes to a big saw that's ran by a computer, and the saw will cut all the studs and headers and cripples and everything else, and then they build the walls off site and send you just stacks and stacks of walls. So
And all labeled.
yeah, so every wall has a number, you get a sheet, right. And so then you just get stacks of walls. So you can start getting walls before you can have all the walls built before your floor is framed or before the concrete's down. So as soon as the concrete's down, as quickly as you can snap it, you're standing walls up that day.
It makes the layout even more important, because if you're having walls panelized before the concrete's done, you have to make sure the concrete is exactly per plan, because that's the way you've laid out your walls.
Right.
You can't have any deviations.
Right, yeah, so it's not like
Oh, yeah, no big deal. We'll just frame the wall.
yeah, or
Which
even,
is longer.
right, or even pipes coming up in the wall. You have to make sure that you're not hitting studs.
Yeah.
So,
True enough. Otherwise, well, you can't. I'm sure at some point you're modifying.
yeah, you're chopping a stud out. Well, yeah,
somewhat,
right.
somehow. And so, how many guys have you got here? You're this.
There's 4 of us here today, yeah. So myself and 3 guys.
When will you start building walls?
Probably Tuesday.
And you'll start. So once these plates are down and marked, will you mark these? Will you put on the 2 top plates?
No, we'll just have the 1 top plate and the bottom plate. And so like over here, you can see I've started marking out the windows.
Yeah.
So on a job like this, I'll go and I'll mark all the doors and the windows on the outside. And since this is all siding and I'm trying to make the stud layout work as much with the siding as I can,
Yeah.
instead of having tons and tons of block lines.
So is this your top plate then?
Yeah, so that's the top plate.
And then over here, there's top plates. Those are hanging.
Right, so all the non-treated material is the top plate. And then the green stuff is the bottom plate.
And that's where your layout's at. So once your plates are laid down over the anchor bolts, they all fit bottom plate or sill plate.
Right, right.
Then you can nail your top plate and start doing layout where your studs and windows fall and all that stuff.
Right, yep.
It's really you really got to do the layout here. It's not like a cut and you put your stud down and go, is it the right spot?
Right, yeah,
That's
no.
all done way beforehand.
Yeah.
Right? Because you guys, now does all this stuff, all these walls, are they all framed on the ground?
Yeah, so these will all be framed on the ground. All the material for the walls is already cut out at Hayward right now. That'll be showing up on Monday.
So standard length studs, or you just?
No, it's all custom studs. It would be a standard length stud if it was down on the slab, but it's on a curb.
Right.
So we take those standard lengths and we cut them to deduct for the curb.
Standard
and then
lengths being a 94 and
104 1/4 would be a 92 1/4, 116 1/4.
Yeah.
Unless you go to the East Coast and then for some reason it's like 5/8.
And then what's this embedded?
That's a drain.
Oh, that's just covering it. So it'll be a
Yeah.
lineal drain.
Yeah, lineal drain.
Probably have them all over the place. No?
Yeah, so a couple of
So
them.
these are wet rooms.
Right, right.
It looks like drains. Are those drains?
I think so. They could be
These
plugs.
could be floor plugs too, I guess. But so the plumbers had a fun time. And
Yeah, there was quite a bit of underground here.
And then are all these? So these drains, these wet drains, these are probably going to sanitary waste.
Yes, I'm sure.
Lighting somewhere,
Right.
These are not area. These are not outside roof
No.
water drains.
Right.
These are,
Yeah, waste,
go to
wastewater.
sanitary waste. Oh, great. And this single story?
2-story. So back right around that wall with the pipe sticking up on it, with the plant pipe, goes to 2-story there. Right about to where Antonio is, that's a stair wall. So just on the other side of him, then it'll be
Single story where we are, and
correct.
it steps up back there. About
Yeah.
A third of the building.
Right.
Wow. Pretty narrow site.
Yeah, it's a tight squeeze back there. Not a bunch of space.
No, not at all. My goodness. So okay, so tell us about this job. What can you tell us about this job, Trevor? What are the challenges on this job?
I think.
When did you get out here? When did you start looking at it?
Oh, I got the plans a while ago. It usually takes me at least a couple weeks to get really my head wrapped around it and start getting all the
plans.
Yeah, start doing material lists. So the first thing I do is just go through and try to make sure that I have all the dimensions.
Is it quick? I'm in the middle of a interview. Yeah, it's supposed to be a handicap sill. No sill, no threshold. You got Victor's number? You got Victor's number? Start by texting him and then call him, okay? And I'll call you back as soon as I can. Bye. That's unbelievable. Oh, you wanted a sill with that exterior door? It's like, oh, you wanted a faucet with that sink?
Right.
You wanted a toilet with that bathroom? Please. Okay, so you got familiar with the plans.
Yeah. Right? So I usually.
Now, are you putting input into whoever's doing estimation?